Tēnā koe, this is a blog post for Māori Data Sovereignty and updated definition. So over the past 4 years, there's been such a directed focus on iwi rights with data held by the Crown that the definition of Māori Data Sovereignty has neglected traditional and modern Māori societal hierarchy and inherited rights. Another issue is that the term Māori Data Sovereignty has been modelled on Indigenous data sovereignty principles, despite Māori having a different societal hierarchy and treaties such as He Whakaputanga, Te Tiriti, and other significant instruments and legislation. This has created confusion with both Māori, government and academia. Despite the global Indigenous model being used, the United Nations Declaration of Indigenous Rights 2010 has also been admitted, despite New Zealand government being a signatory to the declaration and a large effort by government to implement it. So the following definition more accurately reflects traditional and modern day Māori society and recognises the protection to Māori by the Crown with New Zealand's founding constitutional documents, He Whakaputanga and Te Tiriti. So this definition is the umbrella definition of Māori data sovereignty and should be adapted depending on the circumstances. Māori data sovereignty refers to the inherent rights and interests of Māori, whānau, hapu, iwi and Māori organisations have in relation to the creation, collection, access, analysis, interpretation, management, dissemination, reuse and control of data relating to Māori, whānau, hapu, iwi and Māori organisations as guaranteed in He Whakaputanga and or Te Tiriti and provided recognition of rights with the United Declaration of Rights of Indigenous Peoples. Now this definition does differ from Te Manarouranga Māori Data Sovereignty Network, who use the following definition: Māori Data Sovereignty supports tribal sovereignty and the revitalisation of Māori and iwi aspirations. That definition is useful and it has provided protection to date for government to engage with iwi, as this allows the government to work with only one iwi group, typically the Iwi Leaders Forum and their subgroup, the Iwi Leaders Data Forum. The Iwi Leaders Forum only represents a portion of of some iwi, maybe about 50, while Stats New Zealand and Te Ao Māori recognise more than 170 iwi. The definition also does not represent Māori societal groups who contribute to Māori data and the fact that one person is likely to associate with multiple iwi. Other issues with the definition are that iwi are not sovereign nations like other Indigenous peoples in countries such as America and Canada. Iwi are often legislated bodies of elected representatives, commercial entities, charitable trusts, conglomerates and amalgamations of other iwis and groups. Stats New Zealand Census 2018 states that only 20% of Māori people know or engage with their iwi. In Ngāi Tahu, based on internal documentation, we know that less than 10% of our 65,000 plus members participate with their local marae. The aspirations of iwi are very different from iwi to iwi. Some iwi are multi-million dollar corporates, while other iwi have no finances or property and is just seeking to reclaim their identity. Each iwi have their own aspirations, which differ or contradict other iwi. Māori is a general term used by colonial settlers to categorise the Indigenous peoples of New Zealand. New Zealand statutes allow any person who is a descendant to claim themselves to be Māori, and there's no way to prove that a person is Māori, and rightfully so. The term Māori also does not mean an iwi and a hapu, which is a collective of Māori peoples with intergenerational inherited rights and obligations. Thus it's important to differentiate between Māori and iwi, hapu, whānau and organisational data sovereignty rights. Kia ora.